Tamer Anwar. I've been teaching English for 18 years. Yeah, I look younger. Thank you. Very good start. Thank you. I've been teaching English for 18 years. I'm 41 years old. Master's in TESOL from USM, University of Science in Malaysia. I'm a CELTA holder as well. And today we're going to talk about how to be eligible or qualified to work in elite or international schools, whether here in Egypt or in the Gulf, outside, abroad, wherever you want to work. Number one, we need to set some procedures and rules, okay? Once I say class, 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 you need to say yes, 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 with the same tone, the same intonation, and the same number. The same intonation and the same number. Okay? Okay. Let's have a moment. Class, class. Yes, yes. Class, class. Yes, yes. Class, class is mine. Yes, yes is yours. You're not allowed to touch my class. Okay? So class, class. Yes, yes. Class, class, class. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Very good. Good. Okay, great. It's called whole brain activity or whole brain teaching. It's very good to just whole brain teaching. Whole brain teaching. Class. Yes. Class.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Nice one. We will take. we will stick again.
Yes. Yes. I want to close the door. Okay. I was supposed to ask you some questions, and you were supposed to stand up and move around the room, but I don't find any space for you. So let's imagine that we're moving from this side to that side, okay?
There's an empty room. There's an empty chair here.
An empty one. There's a, you can sit there.
Yes.
Class, class.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask you some questions. If your answer is yes, so please point to yes. This is yes, because you were supposed to stand up and move, okay? So point to yes or no, okay? No, just point. I will ask you after each question, okay? So the first question, are you a traditional teacher?
No. That's what traditional teacher. No.
So, can you tell me just one reason for saying no?
Traditional way, you write something on the board and you ask us about our names, our colleges. You point to the information.
Great. So she mentioned the word traditional way. So tell me just one of the criteria of the traditional way of teaching English.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Traditional teaching English?
Yeah.
Like when I say to you, repeat it after me. Play.
Repetition, yeah.
Play.
Drilling.
Yeah, play. And you don't know what the meaning or how does it means. I didn't act for you the word. So you will just repeat after me.
Great. This is the first question. The second question was supposed to use no. Do you exert much effort in the class? Too much effort in the class? Yes. Too much effort in the class. So the traditional teacher exerts too much effort or less?
Yes, they don't.
The traditional teacher exerts too much effort, yes or no?
Yes. The traditional teacher, the traditional one. They forgot to say.
So you might change your mind whether you are traditional or not.
No, I think that traditional
Does not?
Yeah.
You're still thinking. Do you spend the majority of the lesson explaining the concept to your students? Explaining the concept. Do you do that?
I or the traditional?
Do you? Do you? I'm asking you. Do you spend the whole time, the whole class, the whole lesson, 45 minutes explaining the lesson, the concept? No.
Traditional?
Huh?
If you're traditional one?
You. I'm asking you. Do you do that? No. Great. Do you give your students thinking time after any question?
Yeah.
What is the benefit of thinking time, by the way?
Activating schema.
Ah, yeah. Fantastic word. Schemata. Do you ask your students to work in groups?
Yes.
Yes. So the teacher who asks the students to work in groups is traditional or not? Okay. We need more details about that. This is the question. Do you assign different roles for each one in the group? Do you do that? Do you assign a role for each one in the group? Or just take this paper, answer these questions in groups? Work in pairs? And you think that I'm not a traditional teacher. I give them group work, pair work. Huh? Sometimes. Yes. Doesn't matter. The title is not a problem. But I'm asking you, do you assign roles for your teachers, for your students or not?
Sometimes I give them the same role so I can make a competition between them.
Okay. So it depends on the activity, you mean?
It depends, yeah.
No, in the group. In the group, for example, we have a group of 4 students, and you give them a paper, or you give them a question, and you want them to practice speaking this question. So take this paper, take this question, discuss this question in groups.
Without observing.
So, whether you are observer or not. So, you should assign roles for each one. Great. So, please kiss your heads after these questions. So, class? Yes. Great. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 3 parts. Part 1 will be about the qualifications that you need to have in order to be qualified or eligible to work in good schools, whether here or abroad. Part 2 will be about the interview, how to pass the interview successfully. Part 3 will be about the demo. And I know that most of you want to get a demo. How to introduce a very fantastic demo. What are the steps in detail? And actually, I'm going to focus on part 3. Part 3, because you can easily find all the interview questions on Google, and you can find their answers. You can find lots of tips regarding this issue. And also, you can find everything about the certificates and everything regarding the teaching one. So let's start by part 1. A qualified teacher should have, I'm sorry, what's wrong? A qualified teacher should have, number 1, excellent, confidence, patience, sorry, character, you mean charisma. Right, yeah, charisma. Look at me and say charisma. Yeah. What else? Huh?
Creativity.
Yeah, voice, yeah. Can you hear me properly? Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Knowledge and technique.
Great. So let me say something. We have 2 sides. 2 sides. Number 1, it's called content knowledge, right? Content knowledge. Number 2 is called pedagogical knowledge. Number 1, content knowledge, you have to have knowledge regarding to what you are teaching. So you're teaching grammar, so you're supposed to have knowledge regarding to the past simple tense that you are teaching. Number 2, pedagogical knowledge, it means that the way you are delivering this content, This is very, very important. And also, we have another side regarding to the personality of the teacher himself. So let's say a good teacher or a qualified teacher should have good experience. Yes. So you need to have, I always say, teaching teaches teachers. Class.
Yes.
Teaching teaches teachers. So we learn by teaching, by the way. All of us learn by teaching. So the first one who learns in the class is the teacher. It's a rule. So number one, you need to have good experience. Number two, you need to have certificates. What do you mean by certificates? You need to have an evidence, a solid evidence to show the recruiter that you are a qualified teacher. Yes, I know that you are a fantastic teacher, and I can give you a class or a lesson. You can introduce it, you can explain it fantastically. But when I look at your CV before interviewing you, I need to have what? Evidence. I need to have evidence that you are a qualified or a certified teacher in order to hire you, in order to shortlist you, right?
Do you need courses or like I'm graduated from qualification, or just I have?
It depends. It depends. If you want to travel, for example, to Saudi Arabia, you need to be a certified teacher from the university. You need to be an English teacher, and it should be written in your passport. Yeah, but here in Egypt, most of the teachers in international schools, Tajammu'a, these places, they are not certified. I worked in one of the elite schools in 2014 for just three months and resigned. منارة المستقبل. Yes, المغطم.
What about Dubai?
And the same.
Also?
Yeah, the criteria is much higher.
What's so important?
For them in Dubai, number one, to be a native speaker. Let's go down. Huh? Oh, you want to get married? Okay. Number one, to be single. So, the English department, the number of teachers there was around 10. No native speakers. Around 10 to 12 teachers. 2 males, the rest were females, okay? Only 2 certified teachers, myself and Nurhan Shoaib, the actress. Yeah, so we were the 2 certified teachers there, the only 2 certified teachers there. So the rest of them were doctors, engineers, something like that.
And they are teaching.
Yes, they are teaching, but they had CELTA, TESOL, these things. So you need to have certificates. You need to be a very good classroom manager. It is the best thing. How? When I say classroom management, I don't mean how to shush the students, how to stare at them. No, I mean how to attract them, how to manage the class, how to monitor the activities, how to deal with them, how to establish a good rapport with them, how to organize the activities, how to structure your activities. This is everything. It's called comprehensive classroom management. Comprehensive classroom management. So don't think of classroom management, yeah, he has fantastic classroom management. Why? Look at the students, they're very quiet. Very traditional teacher, very quiet. They can be very noisy when they have what? Speaking activity, for example. So it depends on this noise, whether it is positive or what? Negative. So it depends on the activity. So you need to have classroom management. And what do we mean by classroom management? Comprehensive classroom. Everything inside the classroom. Time management, the eye contact, the body language, everything. It's called classroom management. Okay? The way you deliver your class. Culture. Culture is very important. What do we mean by culture? Sometimes we teach multinational students or multinational classes. You might have someone who's from another country. So you need to have culture to deal with them in order to avoid talking about some topics, to respect their beliefs. Yes, to respect their beliefs. So you need to have culture in order to deal with your students, to avoid some points. Charisma. Yes, this is the most important thing. Wallahi, sometimes we teach just by charisma. Yani you feel tired, exhausted. But because of having charisma, you establish fantastic rapport with your students so they can accept anything from you at that time because of your charisma. So, but you need to be charismatic at the beginning. So what do you mean by charisma? Charisma. Can you give a definition for charisma? It's very difficult to find a definition for charisma, but we can say some criteria.
Encourage teachers to make rapport between the teacher and the students.
If you can, for example, this person, I can say Abdullah's a charismatic teacher. He's a charismatic teacher. How? So look at him and describe him.
He can deal with students.
The students are attracted to him.
Excellent. So he attracts students, especially female one. Okay. What else?
If Abdullah makes me to want to eat
So he can inspire you. He inspired you.
respect them, can be confident as a teacher.
Trust. You mean trust, yeah? Mm-hmm.
Respect for the
Yeah,
person.
like feeling his confidence. He's not like,
So the charismatic one should be self-confident.
yeah.
Okay.
I think you need to be trusted and respected.
Excellent.
If you are trusted,
Fantastic.
they will learn from
Trusted,
you.
respected. What else?
Love. Love.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm asking you to describe the charismatic, not Abdullah.
Isn't it natural? Someone is charismatic by nature.
Yes, someone can be by nature charismatic. Yes, but it's something you can acquire as well. Yeah, it's something you can acquire and improve. Yes.
How?
The person
Yeah.
has a charismatic character. I think he has to have a unique teaching method that lets students obey him and accept everything from him.
Great, fantastic. When you have fantastic teaching styles or teaching methods, what will happen to you? This will increase your self-confidence, right? It will increase your self-confidence. And also, this will increase the credibility between you and the students. And they will trust you. So we can start by what? Improving your teaching style. This will help you to improve everything. Everything. So, what more? What can we add here?
Sense of humor.
Yeah, it's very important to have sense of humor. Yes. Yeah, it's a part of yeah. What else?
I think that
Yes. Yes.
energetic.
Yeah. It's a part of the charisma as well.
Communication skills.
Great. Yes.
Good looking.
Yeah. The appearance is very important these days, especially these days. Yeah. Okay. So this is part one. This is what we need in order to work in these places. But I want to ask you about, for example, these acronyms or these words or these letters or these abbreviations, ESL and EFL. For example, here in Capsules, do we teach ESL or EFL? So what's ESL? And what's EFL? Great. Class. Great. Class. Okay. So, ESL, English as a second language. EFL is English as a, yes. Here in Egypt, English is a foreign language or a second language? Foreign language. So, we are teaching EFL, not ESL. Why? Because if you are an Egyptian guy, okay, and you want to travel to Canada, and you want to take courses in Canada to survive there, for you, at that time, for you, English is a second language. So you study in a country where they speak the language that you are studying. So outside the school, they are using this language you are learning. So it's called ESL. But here, outside the school, wherever you go, nobody speaks English. Yeah. So it is called EFL. So this is the difference between ESL and EFL. It's number one. So you need to know that I'm teaching ESL or EFL. In Saudi Arabia, we teach native books. This is the highest level. So we have EFL, ESL, and native books. It is designed for American students. And in some of the international schools here, they teach native books. So the design of the curriculum is different between among them. So from EFL to ESL to the native books. Sorry?
I have taught like some of these curriculums.
Yeah. IG and SAT. IG, CSE, and SAT. Do you have any idea about them? Have you ever heard them? So IG is a what? British. It's from Cambridge. So IG is from Cambridge University. It is a British system. And SAT is American system. So you need to know before applying for a job in any school whether they teach SAT or IG. And you can check on Google the differences between them, because we can spend the whole lecture talking about differences between them. So proficiency test and achievement test. By the end of the course, by the end of any course, we test our students. We give them an exam or a test. This test is called achievement test or proficiency test.
It depends. Here in Capsules, we like a test for
Proficiency test.
at the end of the course.
Okay.
If he cannot, if he hasn't acquired what we do.
Let me compare. Let me make it simply. If you're going to compare between the IELTS test and the test at the end of your course, which one is proficiency and the other one is what? Great. So, class? Yes. Wake up. The achievement test is something you study for, and after that you have a test on this content that you studied. So we check, we measure your achievement in what you already studied, right? So this is called achievement test. Proficiency test like IELTS, like TOEFL, okay, like MAP, these tests are called proficiency tests. They measure your level in this side or in this language. Okay? Sorry? Like the placement test. Yeah, very good, very good. So at the beginning of the course, you take a proficiency test. At the end of the course, you take a what? An achievement test. So this is the difference between both of them. All teachers should be familiar with these things. Okay? IELTS and TOEFL. IELTS, British. TOEFL, American. All English teachers should say IELTS, not IELTS. Okay? CELTA, Delta, TESOL, TEFL. What are they? Sometimes, every day I receive so many messages on Facebook. And actually, some teachers shock me with with some questions like, Mr. Tamer, هو أنا أدرس أخذ IELTS ولا أخذ CELTA? اخد IELTS ولا اخد CELTA. IELTS is an evidence for your content knowledge. And the CELTA is responsible for improving your pedagogical knowledge. So, يعني, something different. So you can choose between CELTA and TESOL. You can choose between IELTS and TOEFL, not between IELTS and CELTA. So you need to know that. So CELTA is from Cambridge, and it is for teaching adults, not young learners. Okay? So CELTA is for teaching adults, not for young learners. So Certificate of English Language Teaching for adults. Okay? Yeah. And Delta is a diploma. CELTA is only 1 month. Very intensive course. It's a very intensive course for just 1 month. Okay? And how are you, brother? And the Delta is a diploma. So it takes, yeah? Sorry? Yes, the same. And TESOL and TEFL, different names for the same thing. Different names for the same same things. So we take, for example, my course. I'm teaching TESOL right now in July in Mansin. So the number of hours is 120 hours. So we have an intensive course as well. So in these courses, you study some psychology and also the latest approaches of teaching English. So these certificates improve your teaching styles. These certificates help you to understand why and what. Why you are doing this and what you should do. For example, someone is teaching in the class. Most of the teachers I saw in my life, they do like that while teaching. Today we're going to talk about the past simple tense. And the past simple tense is very important because we use it to express or to talk about something finished in the past. So the past simple tense. What am I doing right now?
Yes.
Look at it's a very common style. He's practicing walking in the class, right? Right? Yeah, he's practicing walking in the class. So in these courses, you learn when you should move and how, and when you should stop, and what you are going to do when you stop. For example, when I give instructions, I should be where? Here? In this exercise, you need to answer question 1, 2, and 3. What about those students? Excluded, neglected, yeah. So when you introduce any new concept, when you give instructions, you should be where? Here. We call it anchoring. You call it what? You know the anchor? So you need to anchor yourself in the middle of the class so everybody can see you at the same time. Okay? These things we learn in these certificates. We don't learn them by experience. Yeah, by experience you can do lots of good things. But when you study these certificates, you learn when and what exactly you need to do them. And where? Yes. Yes.
But sometimes you, like by nature, you're doing this. You can get their attention, you can do this, you can handle students, but you know the like scientific, academic term for this. So you know this is called this is called.
Which one of these will you recommend for us?
This is number 1. Yeah, because it's very expensive. That's why I chose it. This is the one I teach. And this is a major of my master's. Okay? And this is the cheapest one from American University, AUC.
Cheapest?
The cheapest one, yeah. 4,000 something. 4,500. No. Yes. But no. This one is the best in terms of the content and also the value. Because it is from class.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's from Cambridge.
Can I debate something?
Okay.
Sorry.
I would debate a very important thing. I heard that CELTA is varied. academic, strict, restricting you. Somehow they put you on a track. Don't, right? I heard this. Don't look the other way. Don't go creative. Don't just our way or
This is
highway.
the British system.
I heard
This is the British system.
What's
Yes.
your,
This is the British system, yeah. Sure. Yeah, I do agree with you in some parts, but it's very structured. And you teach in CELTA 9 classes during the class, the course. 9 classes. So they observe you 9 times.
Not like that. I attended the course as a student, not
Okay.
as a student.
Great.
Some of them are creative, some of them allergic, some of them...
No.
But I didn't get the feedback. I didn't get the feedback. Maybe...
No, he's talking about the feedback sessions for teachers right after teaching you. So you were a student. But what happened with the teacher right after finishing the class with you, between him and you and his tutor?
They were practicing something.
Yes, so...
But I didn't get the feedback.
No, they have very creative ideas.
I heard.
But
Apply.
you need to stick to them.
Just to go and check.
You need to stick to what we're teaching you.
But I know all of them...
How much is it?
CELTA, it's 26, and I heard something different.
So if you have CELTA and you don't like graduated from an education university,
He can work in one of the good schools here. You can work in one of the good schools here.
of course you paid 20.
Yeah, yes. So it is from Cambridge, and also the amount of knowledge you gain in CELTA is fantastic. Okay, I'm teaching this, but I studied this. So I'm comparing between and 2 things that I know very well. So TESOL was around 9,000. Okay, in the place where I work, students pay 9,100. We can make a discount for you.
We did it for
TEFL is 4,600.
What's required when you go to international school or you want to teach out?
They need you to be internationally accredited or internationally certified. They need a solid evidence that you are a good teacher, a solid evidence that you studied the latest approaches or the latest teaching methods.
You mean that they can be equal?
Yes, if you look at any of the ads or advertisements on the website, yes, side by side. Okay, yeah, I always recommend starting by TEFL and then make some good money, and after that, go to the other step.
You are TESOL and TEFL just it's different names.
Different, yeah.
Okay. So TEFL, I think it's around 6,000.
TEFL,
TEFL, yes.
4,600.
Yeah, that's good. And TESOL, I think 9,100.
Yeah.
Right? So why should take TESOL or CELTA when I can work?
Where did you get it from?
Yeah.
This is from Cambridge.
Yeah.
You pay money for Cambridge. And here you pay money for example, Illinois, Chicago, like my certificate. And here TEFL, it is from AUC. And the AUC is not internationally accredited, by the way.
Okay.
But certain data is not for young
التعليم مفتوح.
So AUC not accredited internationally.
للتعليم مفتوح.
If you are a recruiter in to have you are an owner from any school.
Okay, I get your point.
And you have someone that has a PhD and someone has CELTA, which one will you choose?
PhD or CELTA? I would choose the CELTA holder. I would choose the CELTA holder because the PhD holder and the master's holder, he's a very good researcher. And I will ask him to make a demo. He can be much better than the CELTA holder. But I need to ask him to do something practical in front of me. So it's very important to have certificates in order to be shortlisted. But at the end of the day, you need to be a very good teacher. So whenever they ask you to give a demo, to teach something, you need to attract them. You need to inspire.
What's the difference between TEFL and
Felt. Felt is for beginners. It's, for example, for experienced teacher, they will learn nothing in felt. Yes. It's like TKT. Yeah. Okay?
We can take SITA.
So I don't recommend felt as well, at all. Yeah.
SITA, we can take it in Egypt.
Yeah, CELTA is here in British Council, Future University, and Fairs University. Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. So let me go to the second section. Section 2. Interviews. But this time, the second activity can be done in this setting. So, class.
Yes.
Your intonation was different. The same intonation.
No, I'm just repeating. I'm trying to blend in. I don't know what.
Class.
Yes.
Yeah. Class.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are very good students. This activity is very good, very nice. It's called fan and pick. Fan and pick. By the way, yes, fan and pick. It's a very good activity. I'm a Kagan coach, by the way. Kagan is cooperative learning structures. Fantastic. Some of their activities are very similar to yours, and it's a very nice course. If you have any chance to study this course, don't miss it. Fan and pick. Kagan. K-A-G-A-N. K-A-G-A-N.
No, right here.
K-A. K. Kagan. Cooperative Learning Structures.
That's like something like education.
Kagan this is the latest approach in teaching, using cooperative learning. So he has PIES, P-I-E-S, 4 criteria, 4 components you need to apply, or you need to make sure that they are there in any activity you introduce. So, yeah. So I will tell you about the PIES. I will talk to you about the PIES after this activity, okay? Fan and pick. This is the fan, okay?
Yeah.
Number 1 in each group is the one who is holding this fan, okay? Number 2 is the one who will pick. Number 3, so number 2 will say the question to number 3, okay? So number 3 will answer. Number 4 will respond and summarize, paraphrase what he said. So here in the group of 4, each one of the group has a different role or not?
Yeah.
Is any one of them doing nothing while they are doing the activity? Can anybody of them hide? All of them are responsible for the activity or not? These are the PIES. Okay? So I'll give each 4 of you. I'll give each 4 of you. I'll give each 4 of you a group of or a set of questions, and number 1, you will. And number 2, please choose one. Pick one. Pick one. Please say the question loudly to your.
What are your biggest strengths?
Can you hear her?
What are your biggest strengths?
Answer?
Yes. Please listen carefully, because you are going to summarize. You're going to paraphrase. So let's imagine that she answered. It's your turn now to paraphrase or summarize, or even you give your opinion to what she said. Okay? So you can, but you need to say something. But don't say the word something. Say something. Okay? This is the activity. Okay? Now, number 1 in each group, please raise your hand. Number 1 in each group. Number 1 in each group. Number 1. Number 1. So you need to have the questions. The fan. Yes. Yes. It's your yeah. Number 2 in each group.
Yes.
Number 3.
Yes.
4. Number one. What's the job of number one? Then number two. Number three. Number four. After the first question, what should we do?
Change rule.
Change role. So number one will give the paper to class. So number one will give the questions to number two. And number one will be what? Four. Yeah, the summarizer, yes. Great. So, etc. Okay. This activity is for which skill? Speaking, right? I was talking to you about classroom management, right? In classroom management, a part of classroom management is monitoring students while giving or while doing any activity, right? In speaking activity, the class must be very noisy, but positively. And your job as a teacher is to monitor students while doing this activity. But don't interfere at all. Don't interfere at all. Don't be too close to the students. Because what will happen? What's your name? Iman. So I'm talking to Iman now. We are practicing speaking now. So if the teacher comes here, what will happen? We will stop talking to each other and look at him. Or we will feel shy, right? So my job is to what? My job is to hold a paper like this, a piece of paper like this, and a pen, and take notes to all the things that I need to discuss right after that. Mainly, we write their mistakes. Pronunciation mistakes, grammatical mistakes, any mistakes they make, without interrupting them, without interfering, because the major purpose is fluency, not accuracy. Yeah, we are. Sorry, yeah.
Sometimes your number is unexpected. You don't know. Yeah, maybe you have a big number, and
it depends. So you design number of students. You mean?
How to give them different roles.
The number of what? Of groups or the number of the class, the whole class?
The class. If I divided them into groups, and then I will find that maybe I ran out of papers like this, or maybe I have a limited. In your class, you already know how many students you have. So we have 30. No, in the outing, these things, so you need to have extra paper, extra cards for that, or don't depend on the cards. Yeah. So you need to chunk this number into small groups in order to control them. Because you can hardly control the big number of students. You can hardly control them. Yani today, I can hardly control you, especially the troublemakers in the middle.
But I think it's too hard to teach teachers. I know that's.
It's too hard. I love teaching teachers so much. I love that. I love that so much. Wallahi, I love teaching teachers.
They can absorb it.
Yeah, we are using the same language. I don't mean English. I mean the same language. We feel each other. That's why I can never be. When I teach, for example, my course, my workshop in classroom management, I call it practical ideas for classroom management. So whatever I mention is something I've already applied, and I know that it's very, very beneficial. I don't use any theoretical ideas at all. So your job is to take what we call, I will write it here, PACS. PACS means post-activity correction stage. Post-activity correction stage. PACS. Post-activity correction stage, this is your job. But not during the activity, right after the activity. So instead of stopping or interrupting them and correcting the mistakes, you just write down their mistakes. For example, I discovered that one of the students mentioned or said a word in a wrong way. So I can write it on the board. Or I can write the same sentence that he said it by mistake on the board. What's my job now? To correct it? No, to ask them to correct it. So my job is just to transfer their answers to the board without interrupting them and without mentioning who did that. Who made, yes, embarrassing them. So ask them, what's the pronunciation of this word? They will say it correctly. So you corrected his mistake, but indirectly. صح? So, yes. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no problem.
I think I have 4 groups. Okay?
Yes.
So I won't focus with this group or this group or all the groups because I will miss a lot.
You are the butterfly.
Yeah.
You are the butterfly in the class.
I just search about mistake here.
Yeah. Yes, you are the butterfly. You make sure that they are doing their job properly, okay? And you make sure that they are speaking English, not Arabic, okay? And you listen to you pick some of their mistakes or the common mistakes of the whole class. So this is your job. But if, for example, if you are teaching writing, here your job is different. In writing, no, you need to interfere. Check grammar, check pronunciation. Stop playing with the phone.
Accuracy.
Yes, accuracy is very important. So, yes, in writing, you check spelling, you check grammar, and you tell them. Do that, yeah, on the spot. Yeah, on the spot, yes. Even native speakers, they are not that accurate in this young age. So your main target is to improve their fluency. Fluency, yes. Pronunciation is a part of the accuracy, not the fluency. So they will imitate you. They will imitate you. If you are a good speaker, if your pronunciation is proper, they will be like you. They will imitate you. We are their role model, right? Okay. Do you like the fan pick? The fan and pick? It's called fan and pick. Fan and pick. You can write it on YouTube. You'll find some examples. Fan and pick. This is the end of, but before that we have some tips. Before you apply for a job, you need to do a research about the school. This research about the school will help you a lot when you enter the school. Do a research means that you ask about the average of salaries there. And if you don't know the average of salaries, because some of the schools, they deal with them as top secret. Yeah, it's a personal thing. Yeah, it was the main reason for leaving my school here in Egypt. Because, yeah, they knew my salary. My colleagues knew my salary. And they started conspiracies, yeah. Long stand. So let's not argue. So number one, you need to do a research about the school. You need to know everything about the school before applying for that job. Work out the common interview questions. Mean that Google all the interview questions. Just write questions, or for example, interview questions for teachers with answers. So you will find all the common questions with their answers or the tips. For example, like the biggest weaknesses. The biggest weaknesses. Do you expect? So the recruiter, when the recruiter asks you this question, when the recruiter asks you this question, would you mention one of your weaknesses?
Sure. My kindness.
Yeah, one that I can deal with.
I have kind heart.
One that I can deal with. That I can like.
One you are improving.
Yeah, can work on it.
Or you can say, for example,
I'm very thankful.
والله يعني مشكلتي بس شويه ان انا very devoted في الشغل، فبفضل اوقات يعني ابذل وقت كبير جدا جدا فبنسى نفسي فبروح متاخر فمراتي بتتخانق معايا فباجي تاني يوم متضايق يعني. So what does it mean? Very hard work. صح? So these are the types of answers you can mention. So you can get these tips from Google.
After mentioning your weaknesses, you gotta tell the recruiter about how to solve it. How are you going to work?
The recruiter will ask you, or you will tell him.
You have to tell them how can you solve this problem.
Like after I told him like
Avoid giving him this chance. I always advise people, you should direct the interview, not the interviewer. You should take him to your strong sides, not to your weak sides. Okay? So for example, I got lots of experience from teaching in different countries. Oh, did you teach in some other countries? What are the countries that you visited? So he will go to your side, not, you need to direct the interview, not him. Tell about your strong and weakness sides. Put reasonable and smart questions of your own. So you need to ask him. That's why I'm telling you. Direct the interview. You can ask him about the curricula they are teaching. You can ask him about the fees of the students. Because when you know the fees, you will decide the amount of salary you're going to take. يعني هم بياخدوا 100,000 وانت تاخد 2000؟ ما ينفع. بالظبط يعني. It's not fair. Okay? Avoid cliches. يعني الجمل المحفوظة دي خلاص؟
Work under pressure.
أيوه. I can work under pressure. الجمل المحفوظة دي cliches دي بقى وده كمان في كل حاجة. Not only in the interview. When you teach your students, please avoid teaching them cliches. Avoid that. Because they will not take marks for that. They will not get any marks from that. يعني الجملة بتاع اسمها ايه؟ Today I'm going to talk about لا في writing. No one can deny that space is one of the most important and it has some advantages. Can you imagine that some teachers, some IELTS teacher, they give students these cliches? Can you imagine that? Wallah al-Azim, they do that.
I know one of, not the best, or the most known IELTS trainers in Egypt. His name is Cosmos blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like getting people like promises of like traveling to Canada and Australia and UK and need some kind of pointing system. So you need the IELTS with high marks. So I'll give you Satuna. I'll give you Capsules. So he makes them like nobody can deny blah blah. Give him the cliches and stuff. He's very rich. He makes like here in Safir Hotel big conferences and thousands of attendants.
MashaAllah.
You know, sometimes it works.
It works in IELTS? No, never. Never.
What is next?
Never. In IELTS, never. In IELTS, never. Huh? No, never. One of my students in IELTS, he's a doctor. And he memorized an essay from Liz. You know Liz IELTS? It's a very famous website. He memorized the essay, okay? And he found it in the IELTS the other day. And he wrote the same essay, copy paste. And he got 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5. He was supposed to get 8 or 8.5. He got only 6.5.
But in traditional
But
education,
I told him, do you expect that you are the only one who wrote this essay? I'm an IELTS examiner, so I correct more than 5,000 papers. So I can find that you are repeating the same exact sentences. So it's not yours. It's not your style, not your language. Like, for example, in speaking, some students or some IELTS students, they mention some expressions like idioms in the speaking. So after the idioms, after using a fantastic expression جمله مجعلصه قد كده خلاص تلاقي عامل subject verb agreement problem mistake وتلاقي مثلا ناطق كلمتين ثلاثه غلط ورا بعض وتلاقيه يبقى دي مش يعني كان واحد بالظبط ايه لابس نظاره ريبان على جلابيه خلاص ابهرتك ايه رايك في النظاره بس انا شايف الجلابيه مش لاقيين على بعض ف انا اسف يا استاذ كان اشهر جلابيه في روسيا عارفين الراجل ابو جلابيه اللي كان بيجي في روسيا لابس علم مصر او استاذ dress very well. Dress very well. I can remember this piece of advice. In 2004, someone called me from agencies. He told me, Mr. Tamer, you have an interview tomorrow in one of the best schools in Saudi Arabia. Please, تعال عريس. تعال عريس. وانا فعلا رحت بدلة الفرح. حافظ مش فاهم. حافظ I'm telling you حافظ مش فاهم. كنا 200 مدرس. حسين knows يعني he used to work with me. He knows this story. كنا 200 مدرس اخدوا 2 العريس وواحد تاني. العريس وصاحبه. والله واحد كان متوصي عليه من هناك جايين من السعوديه عشان يشوفوه والعريس. فالبدله بتاع عليه. Very important. لا كانت بدله عاديه. Yes.
Some of the smart weak sites answers smart.
As I told you, you can mention something you are improving, you are working on to improve. For example, exerting too much effort, and this will affect your health. So it's one of your weaknesses. Yes.
If you said that your strength point is decision maker, that you are decision maker. So maybe your weakness that you can.
He's talking about strength or weaknesses. She's talking about weaknesses.
So maybe your weakness will be that you can take quick decisions يعني تسرع بسرعة. أنت بتعمل decision maker كويس جدا بس أنت يعني تسرع. Sometimes. So الweakness ممكن تبقى جاية من
So I need to double check any question before taking it because sometimes I take my decision quickly. So you give him an idea that you have.
I may say that I'm a perfectionist, for example. I don't accept any wrong activity or something.
Yeah, very picky. Very picky. Yeah. So you only accept perfect things. So yes, this annoy people who are working with you, right?
For example, I stick to my teachings methods and I don't care for social relationships. So.
Yeah, these are some of the weaknesses. But actually, in order to work in a school, you need to have communication skills. So what you have just mentioned right now, it means that you have weakness in this side, right? Class.
Yes.
Next time, I will ask you to lift your friends and stay there, lifting him, carrying him.
What is the least salary that you can accept for a national school?
National?
International.
International?
Salary? This is the good
The lowest one? Wallahi, I can't tell you that. I can't give you an answer for that. But actually, starting from 5 and above.
5?
International. Yeah.
What about American and
American and national?
national? Yes, there is national and there is American and there is international, right?
No, and international we call it international. American we call it international.
Yeah, okay, so that's
The national one, the Arabic from 2000.
yeah.
2000.
So why will?
But some schools they pay 700 or 1,000.
Tell us.
But as long as you are a certified teacher, as long as you paid money, you invested money, like you got CELTA or something like that, you should not accept less than 6,000 and above.
So
One of my friends, one of my colleagues, he works in one of the schools in التجمع. You need to show them that you deserve this amount of money. الناس دي ما بتدفعش فلوس خلاص مش ترميها. هو بياخد مثلا من الطالب 80,000 هيديك انت 20,000. بس مقابل ايه؟ مقابل ان انت معاك سيرتيفيكتس ومعاك سي في قوي جدا فبالتالي هيقبلك انك تدخل عنده تعمل انترفيو. فاول مش هتدخل تعمل انترفيو لما يكون معاك سي في يعني مبهر صح قوي في اكسبيرينس قوي في اكسبيرينس في سيرتيفيكتس خلاص. TEFL is not that strong certificate يعني. Yeah.
So what about this?
But why?
TESOL is good. TESOL is good, but CELTA is better.
Okay, I know it's
CELTA is the best. لا TESOL is good. It's good, especially when you take it from a good place. And you need to make sure, need to ask people who got it before you. This is the only way you can make sure that it is accredited or not. Ask people who got it before you. Did you work with it? Did you travel outside, abroad with it?
People take CELTA and they talk about a lot of people now take CELTA, so it's too hard.
Yes, in 2011, 2011, and we were just 9 in the course. Just 9 persons, 9 people, 9 teachers in the course. But now I can hear 60 or 70 at the same course. Yes, 60 واحد في الكورس مع بعض. احنا كنا في الفيرز كان 60 واحد مع بعض. احنا كنا 10 وواحد اعتذر بين 9 ومعانا 2 tutors، كل tutor معاه 4، واحد معاه 4، واحد معاه 5. Can you imagine the focus?
We don't have that money to pay for something.
That's why I'm telling you to get TEFL or TESOL. Okay, TEFL you can pay 4,600 or something like that. TESOL 9,000. Make money after getting them. Work in some schools with 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, and make money after that. Get CELTA or get masters.
Can you recommend us be certified or place for the these courses?
TESOL, my place is certified. Sorry, accredited, I'm sorry. My place is accredited. I'm sure about that. In Al-Muhansin, EduLine. EduLine, it is accredited from Illinois, Chicago. The state board in Illinois, Chicago. EduLine. Education line. Yes. I'm not here to make marketing. Okay. Don't take any online course. Period. Don't take any online certificate. Period. This is good for you. From whatever. This is good for you. This will help you. Yes. But this will not help you to work wherever you want. Huh? In our Arab countries, they don't believe in online education. In some vacancies, in some vacancies, they mention like that. We need a master's holder, but online courses, online certificates are not recognized. كل الفيكنسيز في العالم العربي خلاص لا تعترف بالأونلاين certificates. Period.
I need traditional education, real life, PhD and MA holders.
And yes, yeah, and they yeah. In America, for example, yeah, they accept them. They accept them. Yeah. By the way, can you imagine that the one who physically attended the course, can you compare him to the one who took it or studied it online? Never. Let's try. So, I'm gonna do teach, and you will? No. Okay, but this time we need to sit in pairs, so everybody should know his pair. Okay? Nobody's outside? خلاص. في ناس مشت تشتري ماتش البرازيل شكلها كده. Now, AB. Big B. AB. Where's B? This is your B. Okay, please sit down beside her. AB. Okay? Your A, B. AB, AB. A, B, A, B. So, A's, raise your hands. We're waiting for her. We need B here, please. We need a B here. We need a B's. Nobody's outside? Can invite one of the girls from outside. مدموزيلات اللي برا دول. مدموزيلات. So, A's, raise your hands. B's. عسل. Okay. So, now I'll say something, and after finishing, okay, A will explain it to B. Right? And the next time, so focus with me, look at me, because you're going to explain, you're going to repeat, you're going to explain or repeat the exact words with the exact gestures. Okay?
There is no B. She can't join us.
Okay. Where's someone sitting here? Class? A's. Who's gonna explain? What should you do when I say teach? Perfect. To be a qualified teacher, you need to have certificates. Teach. Now it's your turn. So A will look at B and will say the same thing with the same gestures. Go back to me. Class. Yes. Class. Yes. Stop. Look at me. Hey. So again. Look at me. A will explain what the teacher says right after saying okay. خلاص? So the exact thing, the exact words with the same body language, okay? To be a qualified teacher, you need to have certificates. Teach. Okay. Class. Great. One more. This time B. This time it's your. This is the turn of B, okay? Now, this is the turn of B, okay? Class.
Yes.
At the beginning of the course, you take a placement test. It's called proficiency test. But at the end of the course, we give you an achievement test. Teach.
Okay.
Class. CELTA is for teaching adults. Teach.
Okay.
Section 3. Okay. What is this?
Jar.
Cool.
Small line. A cup of tea. Cat. Mom.
Ball. Ball. Awarded now. I think jar. Dragon. Pizza.
I'm hungry. This is a Big Mac.
Yeah, Big Mac.
Big Mac. So what's the?
Top bun.
Yeah, the top bun. And the? Bottom bun. And inside? Ingredients, beef, lettuce, onion, these things, sausage or what's burger, the beef. I always tell my students or tell my teachers, my trainees, always remember the Big Mac when you give any or teach any lesson. You need to have top bun, bottom bun. Do you expect someone to pay money for a sandwich without the top bun? Can you do that? انت ممكن تاكليه لو حد شاريه ماشي بس انت تدفعي فلوس؟ مش هتدفعي فلوس، هتاكليه اوكي بس مش هتدفعي فلوس. Okay? So without the top bun, the bottom bun, okay, and the ingredients, you will not have this good lesson. So the Big Mac is our lesson that we are going to introduce in the demo. So always put it in your mind. So number one, you need to remember that the demo should be impressive. You should impress. You should attract them. Okay? You should be impressive, very impressive. Unforgettable. You should do something after this session. I'm sorry for that, but after this session, what will you remember? Teach. So do something to remind people of you. Something new. ما تعملش مصيبة يعني عشان خاطر تجرب المصيبة. Okay? Very engaging. So you engage all people. So everybody is working at the same time. They are not sitting passively, doing nothing. So everybody is looking at you and is doing some activities, and you're always engaging them. Okay? Active and smooth. The word smooth. Everything is working. You move from one activity to another smoothly, from one idea to another smoothly. This is what we mean by smooth. It's not smooth, huh? Smooth. Yeah. Step number 2. Choose a lesson that you are familiar with. Very familiar with. So don't try to apply something very new for you in a demo. It will be very difficult, and you will face lots of obstacles or lots of challenges. And I advise some people on Facebook even, or on YouTube, you feel that the YouTuber or the one who's giving the video in English, he's explaining or describing or trying to deliver something that is very new for him. واحد بيتكلم مع الامريكان اكسنت اللي لحست مخ الناس، فبقول لهم ايه؟ بدل ما تقول kind of قول لهم كندا. كندا. كندا علوش. قلت له كندا. One of the people, I can send you the video. He said instead of saying kind of, in American accent say kinda. 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 Instead of saying O2, say ota. You're teaching the American accent using the British accent? Sorta. Okay, so you need to choose something you are very familiar with. Very familiar with. Number 3, before writing your lesson plan, surf the net. Surf the internet for new ideas. I'm going to teach the past simple tense, but how? Should I teach my way? Should I use my own way? Or should I search, look for different ways, different ideas? We learn from each other, by the way. We learn. You can write on YouTube, teaching past simple. So you'll find more than hundreds of videos. Just watch them. Watch them. Get ideas from them. Number 3, save after you look for some ideas on Google. Save everything on your computer. When you save everything on your computer, everything you found on your computer, in this case, you will have your mini library, and you have built your self-confidence about the lesson. Yeah, I have everything regarding this lesson. So I'm going to teach vocabulary, so I have everything regarding teaching vocabulary. Now it's time for me to look for the best way, to choose from my mini library, okay, what am I supposed to do? Step number 4, surf YouTube or TeachTube. Yeah, TeachTube or YouTube, yes, websites. Sorry, it's like YouTube. To see how other teachers have taught your lesson. Even bad lessons can inspire you with good ideas. He's a very, very traditional teacher. Yes, but he mentioned something in the usages of the present perfect that you've never heard about. But he introduced it in a very traditional way. But you learned from him. Okay? Step number 7. Now you're ready. You're ready to start writing your lesson plan. When you give a demo, you must have a lesson plan.
On the board?
I was lesson. No.
Or would you?
For you. By the way, Shabab, I was teaching lesson plans maybe 2 or 3 days ago. I told them that the lesson plan is for the teacher, not for the supervisor or for the one who's observing you. So it's for me. So you need to write down a lesson plan, very detailed lesson plan. You need to mention the time that you're going to spend in each step, in each activity. The time, this activity will take 5 minutes, 3 minutes. The feedback, 1 minute, 2 minutes. The presentation will take this, the warm-up, the closure. Everything should be mentioned in the lesson plan. It's like you know when you are on a ship, there is a rudder. This is the rudder of the teacher. The lesson plan is like the steering wheel. So don't say that the lesson plan is here in my mind. It helps. I know that it's very important to organize everything in your mind. I know that. And I know most of us can work without a lesson plan. But if you have a lesson plan, you will be much better. Much better. Listen it from a very experienced teacher. I'm telling you, because you're looking at me. I can feel that you don't do that.
I memorized my lesson plan 100 times. I memorized.
Yes. Big Mac. Big Mac. خلاص? My lesson should be Big Mac. Very delicious lesson. The top bun is the warm-up. Anything related to top. Let them move. Let them move. Just any kind of movement. Okay? And funny. Funny. Try to be funny in the class. A good teacher should be a clown. A good teacher should be a clown. We always say that. Clown, yes, clown. Let them laugh. Let them smile. Let them love you. But you are always their brother, not their friend. Brother, not friend. A good teacher is a brother to his students, not a friend to his students. Friends, we are at the same level, on the same level. But brother, I can easily punish you. أخويا كبير اديني على قفاه أخويا. لكن صاحبي ممكن أديله على قفاه. فتلاقي المدرس كده الواد إيه واقف حاطط إيده على كتف المدرس. لا. لا. الحاجات دي إيه؟ الحاجات ديت
They say be friendly. I'm friendly, but I'm not your friend.
Yes, very good. Fantastic. I'm friendly, but I'm not your friend. Fantastic.
I just have the warm-up. It's something else. Another the lead-in. You said it's supposed to be related to the topic. So what about the lead-in?
The same. It's the same. The same.
Warm-up is as the same as the warm-up. They are the same.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example for warm-up?
Okay. Today we were talking about what? About teaching, right? About what teachers are supposed to have. So the warm-up activity was supposed to stand up, okay, and make 2 lines in front of me. Then, if the answer of the question is yes, you need to go to this side. If it's no, go to that side. So what happened now? You listen to the question, you understand the question, and you think of some ideas related to the topic I'm going to talk to you about, and then you move.
That's heavenly.
Yes.
Okay, so what about the demo?
In the demo, you should do the same thing. For example, you are going to teach present simple.
Yes.
Sorry, present continuous.
Okay.
Okay. So I can prepare
I think in the demo
paper, for example. I can prepare some cards.
Okay.
In each card, I can write a verb.
Okay.
Play, pray, swim, do whatever you want, and I can fold them. Okay. Put them in a bowl. خلاص حطيتها في طبق كده in the middle of each group and pick one Once you find the word, imitate it or act it.
Okay.
Miming. So it's a kind of activity.
The demo we have with the students.
Apply everything on the teachers who are attending, who are in the class, as if they are students. Yeah, sometimes you will have a teacher who will act as if he's the troublemaker in the class. Yes, yes. ممكن تلاقي المدير تلاقيه بقى قال بهبل كده، المدير بتاع المدرسه قال لك انا خلاص طالب اهبل، تعامل معاه لانه اهبل عادي. ها؟ ما انا بتعامل معاكم لانكم طلبه اهو. عمالين تتكلموا وترغوا وانا عمال يعني لا مش الكلام مش هم انتوا المجموعه دي. This group, this gang, this is the warm-up. Yeah, this is the core. The beef, lettuce, onion, sauce, everything. But before the presentation, you should have the top on, yes, the warm-up. So the presentation. What should we do in the presentation? It should be student-based, student-centered class. The students are doing everything in the class. I'm just somebody mentioned here, a facilitator. Yes, my job is to explain the concept in a very short time and give instructions. Then, feedback. This is my job. Explain the concept in a very short time, give instructions, feedback. Monitor the students while doing their jobs. This is the job of the teacher in the class. That's it. Not more than this. Not lecturing, spending the whole time lecturing. It means that you are exerting too much effort. I can remember one of my colleagues. He's a very good teacher. And he came to my school in Saudi Arabia to give a demo. They asked him to give a demo in one of my classes, to my students, real students, 20 students. And he entered the class, and he wanted to show the observers that he's a very good teacher, and he's very knowledgeable, and he knows everything about this topic. So he kept on talking and explaining, and he had some activities and everything till the end of the class. They hired him, by the way. They hired him. He's working with me right now. Okay? What did the students say? I asked my students about them. والله لا ليه؟ Mr. Tamer, he talked too much. والله قال لي كده أول لي بيتكلم كتير قوي. يكس ها؟ Grade grade 9. No, grade 9, 13, 14. No, 14, 15. No. Students are so smart. Grade 1, grade 2 students are so smart. My kids, he's with me in the same school. He's in grade 3 right now. والله العظيم بيقول لي حاجات عن التيتشرز أنا ببقى مرعوب. They can catch things that you can never imagine. Never imagine. والله العظيم they imitate the accent of the teacher. And they can judge, they can say whether you have good accent or not. Wallahi. So please respect the teacher, the students. Respect their mentality. They're so smart. You can find a very bad student, very low level student, but he can tell that this teacher is good or not. Smart.
He's like
Smart.
receiving from you.
He's not good at English, but he's very good at other things.
Communication skills.
So, minimize TTT. Do you know TTT?
Teacher talking all the time.
Yeah, teachers talking time. So a good teacher should not talk more than 25% of the class. And students,
80%.
maximize STT, 80% of students talking time. So we have TTT, we have two TTTs. The first one, teachers talking time. The second one, Test, teach, test.
Test, teach, test.
Yeah, it's a very good approach. Yeah. So we have teachers talking time and test, teach, test. So you test the students at the beginning. For example, you ask them at the beginning. You want some practical ideas, right? So for example, today I'm going to teach the past simple tense. So at the beginning I test them. It's called a diagnostic test. A diagnostic. You put your finger on the weaknesses, right? You check the weaknesses of them. So number one, you test them. So you ask them, for example, what did you do in your last summer vacation? So they will say, I go to Canada and I buy blah, 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 blah. So this is the first test. You test them. After that, you start teaching, focusing on the problems that you noticed in the diagnostic test. Then you test them again
Should I do it every
to measure the progress.
Should I do it every new thing when I teach a new thing? Should I use it?
Yes, yes.
Every time?
Yeah, you can. You can. Depends. But this approach can be applied on everything. Everything, even in your lectures and presentations.
Can I use it?
Not only in teaching, in presentations. يعني انت بتعمل presentation على اي حاجه، انت راجل دكتور صيدلي بتعمل presentation في اي مكان. فاول خالص انت تشرح ايه؟ تسال الناس على اللي انت بتشرحه، بتشوفهم يعرفوا عنه ايه. فلقيت حاجات ظهرت كده ومن خلال وانت بتشرح بقى هتلاقيك بتركز على.
So can I use it like a warm up?
Yes, yeah. You can use the warm up as the first T, right? Yes. Use engaging materials, activities. Engaging materials like videos. Also, your voice should be clear. Your voice should be clear. Class? Yes. Great. Smooth. Smooth means that you move from one step to another smoothly. From activity to another smoothly. From the concept to the usage to the practice smoothly. Everything is going that way. Varied. Varied means what? You have individual work, you have pair work, and you have group work.
Motivation is very important because it's very important for the students because it's kind of giving motivation to the students.
Yeah.
Now it's a student to be a classroom manager, a well classroom manager.
Great. So concept check activities. You need to have activities to check their understanding because a good teacher, yes, can never ask these two silly questions. Do you understand? Is it clear? Because the expected answer is what? Yes. وإلا هبقى احنا ايه? Stupid. صح كده? So don't ask, do you understand or is it clear? But ask CCQs. Check, concept check questions. Concept check questions. CCQs. Yes, no questions, or the answer is one word. Short answers. So after you teach the past simple tense, does it talk about something finished? Yes. So answer. Does it talk about something finished?
Yes.
The past. Yes. Is it talking about something in the future? No, something like that. بس ما تسألهمش بقى الايه السؤال وعكسه يعني اللي هو مثلا ايه في حاجه اسمها ICQs. Instructions, check, questions. So after giving instructions, I did what did I do at the beginning of the class? You can remember. I give the instructions and I ask some questions. So are you going to work in pairs? Yes. Or are you going to work in groups? No. Etc. Something like that. Who's A? Who's B? Who's going to start? Like this. So you ask questions and instead of saying, خلاص يا جماعة, is it clear? Everything's okay? You understand the question? You understand the lesson? الكلام ده ما ينفعش. وبعدين بقى يخلص ترجع لك تاني تلاقي نفسك مش حدش فاهم حاجة. He can understand the second way, not the first one. The second time, not the first time. And you can help him the second time to understand through these short answer questions.
Sorry, again, please, for variation, you mean here for the grouping, because it's a group, Varied individuals.
Varied, يعني the way you deliver the lesson, the way you give the activities. You ask them to work sometimes to finish this activity individually, or to do it in pairs or in groups. This is the variation.
Variation in given activities.
Yes. Yeah, inside the presentation.
The same lesson?
In the same lesson, yeah. Yes. So, after giving any concept, you need to check their understanding using CCQs. Teach.
Say it. After giving.
Class. A good teacher should maximize STTT and minimize TTT. Teach.
Okay.
Class. Yes, practice. Controlled practice, independent practice. Do you know any idea about the difference between controlled or guided practice and I'm not asking you, I'm asking.
Free practice.
Yeah. Free practice and controlled practice. Let me look at this one. Independent practice or free practice. In CELTA they call it freer practice. ER يعني مش هتلاقيها في على أي حتة. Freer practice, yeah. So, what's the difference? For example, today I'm teaching the past simple tense. So, at the end of the class, I ask my students to answer the questions in the book or in the paper. Is it guided or independent? Guided. So, what is the objective behind this guided? To use the content the concept, or the concept in the practice or in this exercise. Excellent. To check the accuracy. So number one, for the guided questions or for the guided practice, you check the accuracy. But here, independent practice or the freer practice, it should be focused on one of the two skills, whether or so speaking or writing. So you can ask your students at the end of the class to talk using the past simple or to write a paragraph using the past simple. That's why they call it free practice. So they will write whatever they want, but using what? Past simple.
What about the homework? Is it practice? It is, or
It can be guided. The homework can be guided. You give them ask them to answer, for example, exercise number 2 in the book, guided. But if you ask them to prepare a presentation that, as you said, it's free practice. So
how can I give that to them table?
you give them worksheets, piece of paper, yes. In the demo, very good question. It's a very good question. شباب لما تروح الديمو هتبقى عندك حاجه من الاثنين. يا اما هيدوا لك كتاب يقول لك اشرح الليسن ده، او يقول لك تعالى اعمل ديمو. So you can be restricted to teach one of the pages that they assign for you, or you choose your own lesson that you are very familiar with. Okay, so whenever they ask you to choose the topic or to choose the lesson, please go to the school with your papers, activities, everything should be ready with you. Go ready, very ready. خلاص؟ ولازم بقى القصايص دي بتعمل شغل جامد قوي. يعني اكتر حاجه اتعلمناها في السلطه القصقصه دي. القصقصه دي. قصقص. ليه؟ لان انت you need to structure your activities. يعني انت مثلا هتخلي ولادي يحلوا مثلا exercise 1. الورقه فيها 1 و 2 و 3. فانت تقص 1 وتديه لهم عشان عينه ما تروحش على 2. عشان بعد ما يخلص 1 ما يقعدش يحل لك في 2. Yes.
Should I ask them if they have a lesson or I want to choose my lesson, or for them ask?
They will tell you. They will tell you. Closure. Bottom bun.
Yeah.
The bottom bun. This is the closure. It's very important. And it's very similar to the warm-up. Warm-up. So you just want to make sure that you're going to leave them and they are happy and active. Okay? In a funny way, yes. So, funny game that some of the lesson this will consolidate the idea. So, it's time. I'm going to what? Close the room. So the first one, I open the room, mean that your brains. I open the schemata in your mind, in your brain, خلاص, and I put everything I want through the presentation. Then I close the room. So everything is inside the room right now.
Is it equal for the evaluation?
Huh?
It's something different. Closure is very close to evaluation.
Then evaluation is inside the presentation. Inside you evaluate the students, you assess them inside this is a part of the evaluation, the presentation. Everything. But you can use it as a part. You can use this to evaluate their understanding. It's okay. You can make sure that they understand. It's okay. ما فيش مشكلة.
Sometimes we study that it's a colleague that you have to finish your lesson with an evaluation and use freer practice.
Freer practice, we said it's a part of the presentation in the practice. It's a part of it. PPP. PPP. Quiz trade. Quiz trade. The first one was called what? Fan and pick, right? This one is called quiz trade. What is quiz trade? And this is our closure.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's not asking that. That's the game for me.
Yes.
Yes.
So I apply whatever I say.
Yeah, that's right. You are a live example.
Nice work.
Yes.
He lives up what he preaches.
Yeah,
that's our job. What's quiz trade? Quiz trade, let me explain the activity because I'm talking to teachers now. This is one of Kagan activities or Kagan structures. I use it, or what it is supposed to be used for is for revising ideas, revising something you've already taught. But sometimes I use it at the beginning, before teaching anything, as a warm-up. For example, I want to teach new vocabulary. خلاص? In the American schools, the vocabulary is very tough, even for us as teachers. حاجة كده يعني ايه؟ في ايه ده؟ في ايه يعني؟ الكلام ده ايه؟ Okay? So, if I start by trying to teach this vocabulary, these new vocabulary or these new words for the students, what will happen? They will not understand anything, any one of them. And you will explain so much time trying to simplify the meaning of them. But if I give them a paper with the words and its definition, and I ask, please stand up, each one of them, for example, today I'm going to teach 10 new words. So I will print out cards with the number of the students. In these cards, I write the words and its definition. You have a word, and I have a word. This is the words and the definition. Quiz trades. The steps of quiz trades is what? Like this. Number one, I raise my hands. I stand up and I raise my hands, and I walk around the class. Then, once I find someone close to me, I high five. High five. This is number one. Communication skills. High five. After high five, I ask her, or I ask him, what is the definition of the word schemata?
Schemata.
So if he doesn't know, I will teach him. I will tell him the definition in my paper. Then he will ask me about his paper. What is the definition of the word practice? So if I know, he will say, good job. If I don't know, he will coach me. He will tell me the answer. After finishing, I take your and I give you mine. This is trade. So quiz, trade. Then I move and find another person. Now I'm asking about a new word. About what? A new word. So what will happen now? After 5 to 7 minutes, what will happen? Mean that I will be familiar with all the words. And after that, I can ask them to sit down and ask them about the words. What is the definition of schemata? The majority of them will know. He will answer. So, in this very easy way, I introduced all the new vocabulary for them without exerting any effort. They did everything. Everything. And I can use it also at the beginning, at the end of the class, to review everything I taught. So I can ask them, I can write questions, and they can review these questions or the answers of these questions altogether, like what we're going to do today. So today everybody will get a card. In this card, there is a question. There is a question. And he needs to ask this question to someone, and the other person must answer. If he doesn't know, you need to explain to him. But today I wrote only the questions, not the answers. That's it.
Oh.